Well, with me today is Frankie Fry, who's had an incredible season with the academy. One of your teams winning the treble, Frankie. Must have been a brilliant start for you.
Yeah, really pleasing. It's one of those at the start of the season you always have an idea of you want to try and be competing for things, you want to try and win things, but we didn't put any pressure on. We have to, and it's nice. It's a nice reflection that the methods that we've been using throughout the year obviously worked amongst having good players.
What do you think has been the key to the success and of all the treble? Is it under 18, obviously, isn't it? That what was the most impressive of the three? Would you say, if there is one?
Yeah, I'd say the league. I mean, it's a cliche at any level, but I always think that the level you're playing at, you're competing at as well. So I think that the league's the bread and butter. That's the one where you have to be most consistent. We went through only losing one game as well, so all the games were tight. And the cup one was the Jamin Shield. That was real satisfying because that was the toughest games. We had the hardest group that we went through, winning all 6 games, and then the final was a little bit one-sided, but I think that was most rewarding because of all the work had to go in before that.
So most of the lads that appeared in the teams were under 18. Once they reach 18, what's the next level for them?
Well, when I first joined just over a year ago, speaking with Richie and Luke, but both of them were really keen on having a pathway for players, and that's something that for myself I'm really big on. I'm more of a development coach, progressing players. So most rewarding thing with that is what's the next step for the players? Where can they go next? And obviously here it's trying to go as close to the first team as we can. So it's about shortening that gap, building that bridge, so players, if they're successful with the under-18s, there is a pathway for them to go into the first team environment.
Because there is a huge gap, isn't there, from under 18 and onwards to first team. And of course, you're having quite a bit of experience so coaching the first team in League Lovers' absence recently. That must be a great opportunity for you as well.
Yeah, it's fantastic. My background's mostly at Peterborough, and the way the structure is there, through coaches and players, it's all connected, it's all aligned, which I think is the most important thing for a pathway. So being able to go up, and I know Lee from before on the scouting scene, and he was assistant for a time at Peterborough as well. So being familiar with his methods, what he wants, being able to work with the first team players and see firsthand where our 18s are, where the players compare to that. And again, for me, it's just about shortening that gap between them.
I've got to ask the question, but a name like Frankie Fry, obviously Peterborough, obviously the word Barry springs into mind, who's had a long association off the field with Kettering Town. He's been very supportive in the past. What's it like growing under Barry and being with him throughout your career?
Yeah. Do you know, the best thing I've ever had is just being able to observe. You know, just being able to have close contact. When I was a kid, he used to bring me around to training. The old stories where it was easier to miss school that day, so I could go and watch training or pre-season. And I'm not as loud of a character as him, but I've always been a bit more observant, so I'll be able to watch and see how things are done. And having that knowledge, and especially seeing all the different wheels of the clock into the machine, so I feel it's really set me up well, having that insight. And obviously a massive part of his career is non-league.
I remember him at Barnet charging down the Rocket and Road lines after Barnet to score the third goal to virtually still promotion. He was like a rhinoceros running down there, but he's a great character, isn't he? And that always comes over when you talk about Barry Fry. Is that something that you try to get into your character over to the youngsters, and are they aware of your father?
Yeah, so Phil Wade, the academy manager, still hasn't forgiven me for that, for the old Barnet and Kettering rivalries, but yeah, I think something that's shown me is that the Barry you see on TV or you hear about in the news, he's like that at home, and it's just shown me that just be yourself as much as possible. It's probably a bit too late for some of the youngsters coming in, but hopefully the effect it's had on me. He was very good at man management and working with people, and he's got a great background of improving players and creating environments, giving them the freedom to improve and push on. So hopefully, I don't think a lot of the academy kids know who he is, but hopefully they're getting a lot of benefits that I've picked up from him.
As I said in the introduction, you had a fantastic start to your career at Kettering with the winning of the treble last season. What are your targets and aims for this season for the team and for you personally?
To keep going. So, as I said, by the end of the season, you always want to be in the competitions. We want to have a better FA Youth Cup. I feel like with the squad we've got, we got through to the second qualifier last year and lost against a very good team. But I feel we've closed that gap again. So I want to try and get as far as we can in that. And then we always want to win something. The boys we've got, especially winning a couple of trophies, they're going to be hungry to win it. The first years coming in, they want to be part of it as well. So we're just going to see how we go, and hopefully see where we are end of the season.
Okay, and Frankie, thanks for that. I'm sure you'll have another great season, not only with the academy, but also a bit of coaching with the first team, which must be quite nice in how that all runs.
Yeah, and again, for me, it just ties the club together. Doing a little bit of work in the academy with Phil, working on this programme and the first team, it just bridges it all together. So hopefully, more importantly, the players, whether you're an under 9, whether you're an under 16, 18, you'll be able to look up and see the next step on the ladder, and it gives a little bit more motivation in I can get there. And we want all the kids in the academy, whether it's the youth academy, the 18s, aspiring to be in that first team and being able to have a little foot in all steps is really important, because I think the players being able to see that, working with the under 18s, knowing that I've got to cross over to the 18s, it will motivate them even more, hopefully.
Thank you, Frankie, and the best of success for next season. I'm sure you'll have a great one.
Thank you.
Well, with me now is Matt Heath, tutor and ex-Premiership footballer. We'll keep that one in there, who's with the academy. Matt, great to have you with us. How do you think your season or last season went?
On the football pitch, really successful actually. We've had a good group of players throughout the whole year. A lot of it has changed. We've had some lads that have come into the fold and done really well. And on the pitch, successfully won the league. We've got a cup under our belt as well, so you can call us double winners this year. But it's credit to Frankie, coaching staff, Luke, and all the players put a lot of hard work in, and when it got tough, they come up with a few good results.
Taking things a bit more personally now. Luke said to me that you're probably one of the most humble ex-Premiership players that he's ever met. And for those that don't know, of course, Matt played for Leicester City. And I think I actually saw you play, to be honest. You looked a bit different in those days, but must have been a great experience.
Yeah, it was great. Obviously, it was my dream growing up as a kid, wanting to play football. And I did get an opportunity at Leicester at the time. They were in the Premier League. I know they've done a bit of yo-yoing over the years before coming good and really good again. So I got a lucky opportunity to go through the academy system at Leicester, make it into the first team, get given a debut at 19 from Peter Taylor, and stayed there for a fair few years, luckily. A few games in the Premier League, a few games in the Championship. But yeah, great experience.
Is it true that you've got a Dennis Bergkamp shirt under your bed?
Yeah, I was lucky enough to play against them when they became the Invincibles, and we played them last game of the season. They obviously needed to avoid defeat to get their record, and we were 1-0 up at half time at Highbury. So we were in the changing room. Yeah, we were having a little laugh, going, "Whoa, we're gonna do them here!" But no, they come up and they beat us 2-1 eventually. And yeah, I asked Dennis for his shirt after the game, so I've got that locked away.
That's good, great player, wasn't he? But how does the experiences from that sort of transmit into the academy, and do the lads know that you were at that standard and played at that level?
Yeah, they all know. We speak about it, and they ask questions sporadically, usually during a lesson as well, just to get out of doing a little bit of work. But they find the odd goal, the odd blooper, the odd own goal on YouTube as well that they have a little laugh over. But in general, I think it does help. With the advice I can give, they know that I've played at a decent level, as has Luke as well. So I think it just gives a little bit more credibility to what we're trying to give them or come across with regards to probably not more the technical side of the game, but the mindset around the game and how they can approach certain games and maybe their attitudes and what they need to do within a game at half time, just to help them along the way a little bit there.
Yes, it must be interesting. What do you think to the standard that you've come across since you've been here? How do you rate the players at this level?
Really good, actually. I've worked at this under-18s level for a fair few years now, and I can remember my first training session watching them and going back to Frankie and saying, there's some real good players in there, really, really good. And they have proven it on the pitch. Luckily, we've had a few of the lads as well have started training with the first team, luckily, as well. So they've got an opportunity to crack on, really, at Kettering and see where it can take them.
Education, key part of being a footballer these days. In my day, it was unheard of, in the days of the Ark. But also, you can go on to be a coach and UEFA coach. Is that something that you are looking forward to going to yourself?
Well, still back in my day when we did my apprenticeship, we still had to go to college and we had to do the equivalent of what the lads are doing here with a BTEC. We got put through our coaching qualification, our level 2 FA coaching qualification at that age as well. It is something that I'd probably like to, in time, take it to the next level so I can build my CV up on the football side of things as well. For me personally, I get my football fix with the coaching the lads here and doing the under-18s games as Frankie's assistant mainly on the side of the pitch. So, do you know what? It's one of them things. I've also got my personal training qualification that I'm kind of in the midst of doing as well. So I've got a few things that in my own time I need to be cracking on with, but life gets busy, doesn't it?
Do you watch much football outside of working for Kettering?
A little bit. I'm a Leicester City fan, born and bred in Leicester, so whenever they're on the telly, I'll sit down with the family and watch them, and then I try and catch match of the day like everyone else does. But it's generally, you're watching a game and you're thinking, oh, that set piece is good, or that pattern of play is good, and you kind of look at it from a different angle. You wish sometimes you could look at it as a fan and just enjoy it, but I'm always working out what formation the team's playing and how they can beat that. And it's
so you can't really rest then, really?
Not really. It's a little annoying sometimes, to be honest, but it's I'll try and watch as much as I can.
Aims for next season, yourself and for the club here?
I think we've set a standard this year. We've got a benchmark. I think we can try and have a good start in pre-season, be a lot more professional, make sure that we structure our training and the lads understand maybe the disciplines of what it takes to be a top-class footballer. And hopefully if they can take that on board and we knit and gel together with the new lads coming in, we can have a season as good as we did last year. And obviously we've got to try and look ahead and try and think, can we progress and can we do better than we did last year? So I don't want to say we want to win a treble or we want to do this or do that, but I think just a steady progression from our point of view as coaches and the lads is something that I think we'll all be happy with.
Okay, Matt, thank you for your time. Hopefully you'll have a great season next season and keep that Burkamp shirt safe. I know a certain Ed Palmer collects shirts, so he'll be after that one. And he's an Arsenal fan as well, so he's got his health.
Yeah, well, I went to the Football Museum up in Manchester and they had a shirt collection and I offered it to them to see if they wanted to put it up, but they never really got back to me, so it's still under the bed.
You heard it here first. Well, welcome, Luke Graham. I say welcome. It's a completely refurbished gymnasium now the Boxers have gone here at Kettering Town. Fantastic facility you've got.
Yeah, no, been here 5 years now, and I think this club's growing every year, and something like this for our students is absolutely brilliant. Just the facilities, the weights that we have, everything that you need, and Imi coming in as well, local girl. It's just brilliant, and the collaboration that we'll have, she'll be able to do some classes. You'd pay a good amount of money to have the stuff that we've got in here. So to have that on site is another step in the right direction for our programme. And of course, we've got the education building coming as well, Cooke, which is only about 4 weeks away now. 2 classrooms, kitchen area, social area for the boys, offices, the lot. We'll be out of the main building. I'm very excited. It's great not only for them but the community, because we can rent that out. The FA can use it and other people. So to have this facility and to have the education building in place we're just missing that last bit of the jigsaw, which you'll know what I'm talking about, and will be something like a professional outfit, which is where I want this club to be.
It's certainly improving, isn't it? I mean, this facility, you can't really see it, viewers, at the moment, but we'll probably take some shots of it so you can. But very, very impressive indeed that now the boxes have gone, everything's in here you can want for physical fitness and training. A great asset also for, obviously, for the first team as well.
Yeah, exactly. And, for a first team manager, now and again to mix up your training, be able to bring the boys down here, do some strength conditioning before you go and do your pitch work, or it might be that it's a horrible wet night, you want to do some analysis and do some gym work as well. So again, and not in that, the academy players as well. We've had a programme in place for the academy players where obviously at a certain age they can start doing things. So again, this is going to be open to them. So for the football club and for the community, this is a massive step in the right direction.
I've spoken to Frankie and to Matt about the success of the under-18s, and it must be pleasing for you as well. Not only that, but with 3 of the students going to South Bend Lions in America and proving to be a success over there as well.
Yeah, I think things take time. We've obviously a big football club. Really, bar Northampton Town, we're the biggest football club in the county, and things take time. And year by year we're getting stronger, and I think your reputation grows. When you work hard and you've got good staff around you, the proof's in the pudding now, and our under-18s are continually winning football matches. Lads are continually training with our first team. We've had, I think, 30 odd boys going out playing men's football, and of course the boys out in South Bend have done us proud, acquitted themselves really well. Very impressed with their maturity since they've been out there. They're around older boys. But to be honest with you, Cookie, the fact that they're in with our first team already, it's an easy transition because they get them opportunities with us. We get them into men's football, so they're already equipped, but they are the youngest boys in that squad. They're top at the moment. They're looking like they'll get into playoffs, which is a great achievement for the club, being in only year 2, and Colin George especially scoring goals. So the opportunities for a young lad coming through our system, they're getting bigger and bigger, and I think that's all you can do, Cookie. You can give these boys the opportunities. It's down to them. We don't say come here and you'll be a professional footballer, because it doesn't work like that. There's colleges round the corner that have been going 15, 20 years. They've never produced a professional footballer. For us over the next few years, we're on a different wave now where we're improving the facilities, our reputation's growing, we're getting better coaches in. We've got a few other things that I won't divulge that are planned in the future. But there's stability at this football club at the moment, and from that perspective, the right environment to produce footballers, whether they're falling short at our football club but they're filtering in somewhere, that's what it's about. It's the education with the staff that we have. And you look at Northampton Town at the moment, Sean McWilliams is a key player. They've just managed to hang on to him, but we get Max Dyche from Northampton Town, who's 19. So their best players are coming to us. We also got Coops, who's come back from Mansfield. We also got the keeper from Wool, Jackson. So you think about where they're coming to play their football. The fact that we've got so many lads out playing men's football below us, is a credit to the hard work that's gone in over the past 5 years.
Must be good also for the Kettering youngsters to sort of match their skills up against people like Dyche, Jackson Smith and Cooper, and see the development that they've made at different clubs. It must be a bit of an eye-opener for them as well, but also a progression, as I know that Lee Glover wants to incorporate Herbert and etc. from South Bends into the first team squad when the return. Is it in February?
February? I hope not. They'll be back in a few weeks when their playoffs finish, so probably for the start of the new season. But no, exactly. And the good thing about Lee is he lives locally. We've not had a local manager in my 5 years here. They've all been different, and that's part of the process. But the fact that Lee lives in Weldon, local lad, he's already been over there, regularly, more than we've had any first team manager so far. He buys into it. Frankie's obviously been coaching with the first team, so we've got 5 or 6 there regularly. And like I say, it's down to them. We can't just wave a magic wand and they've got to digest it, they've got to understand it, they've got to learn from people, they've got to want to be coachable. And the body language, the body language now in young people at times, it needs to improve. And that's the honesty. And I've only gave out, or the club has only gave a few opportunities to young players in terms of contracts so far, because it's credibility as well, and they've got to work hard for it. They've got to have the body language that they want to come in and they want to get better every day. And that's the only way you're going to be a first-team player at this football club or higher. The body language is important. You know, there's no point sulking. Show your emotion, but then get over it quickly. But if you're coming in, you know, your hood's down, you're not interacting with people, you go into a first-team environment, you know, sink or swim type of environment, you know, you're going to sink. You've got to be open-minded. You've got to want to speak to staff. You've got to want to speak to the players, whether it's on the back of the coach, and learn what their journey's about. Them all things are massive in young people now, and the resilience as well. You know, if you don't make the squad, you come on for 5 minutes and you don't play. All them kind of things. The body language now in young people is huge, and we try. They won't get much out of me. You know, I'll give my arm around the shoulder when they need one, of course, but at the end of the day, they know with myself and the standards we set here as staff is their body language got to be spot on every single day if they're going to improve and get opportunities with us. And there's a few that are grasping that. And year on year in, the quality of our player that we've been able to recruit is getting stronger. And I think it will continue to get stronger as this club gets stronger and our facilities keep on improving.
To finally finish, Luke, of course, with all that, also you are our caretaker in waiting, aren't you? You've done it on a couple of occasions so far, and I remember on the bus going, I'm not sure, I think it was to Bradford, where you sat down with every player in the bus and had a word with them. I'd never seen that before, and I thought it was a good way to introduce yourself and get to know the players pretty quickly in such a short period of time. Is managing a possibility in the future? I've asked you this before, I know what your answer is going to be, but I'll throw it in again.
Yeah, I think it's not a secret. I think you know, one day I'd like to be a manager of a football club. I think you know, you look at your skill set and the experiences that you have. So of course, I think when the time's right for myself. But being honest with you, probably being a bit selfish at the moment in terms of my young family, stuff with Future Lions, South Bend Lions. You know, a lot going on, and enjoying since retiring other things, whether it's summarising, scouting, whatever it be. I'm quite enjoying them other things, and I think when you've been on a contract for 20 odd years, going year to year, it's nice not to be reliant on football in certain aspects. So what I'd love to happen is Leeds have a good 4 years at the club. We get all the things in place, and maybe one day, you know, I pass through a line. But you know, at the moment, really enjoying as the club's growing, really enjoying the Future Lions stuff, the South Bend Lions stuff, and of course, I'm happy being the caretaker. I hope I don't have to do it for a while, because that means Leeds being successful. But I live around the corner. I'm not going anywhere as long as this club carries on to improve. You know, that's what it's about. If it's keep progressing, you want to stay on that. And I think when you've invested 5 years of your time somewhere, and the progress this club's made, I'm thinking, actually, we're getting closer to where we need to be. In another 5 years, we could be, you know, a National League club with a 3G pitch, all these buildings, gym in place. You know, that's what most clubs in this county would dream of. There's not a club in this county would have them facilities if we get where we need to be. And from a community aspect, this club and the fan base will just continue to grow, and we'll mark our card as, you know, the biggest club outside Northampton town, which is, you know, where we want to be. So answer your question, watch this space, but at the moment, really happy with how things are going.
Thank you, Luke, and indeed watch this space. I'm sure we'll be speaking sometime in the season, get you on Poppers TV when the season starts if you want to come on. But brilliant insight. Thank you for you and staff and for today, and great facilities that we've got here now as well, and I'm sure, as you say, it's going to continue in the next couple of seasons. Thank you, Luke.
Top man, Cookie. Cheers.